I didn't do a sound check on my last video, so I just wasted 10-11 minutes of recording. I wanted to show off some of the prog changes that I made recently, and I'm not even going to try to decode this brain here on the lives, because there's so much. It's 54 and 154 nodes and 144 synapses. It's too much. So this is kind of the precision update, and there's a lot of other things aside from precision, but I wanted to make these guys more accurate hunters, and the way to do that is when they're not looking directly at something. If they see something in the peripherals, they slow down, and if it zeroes in on it, they speed up. You know, it's very simple. And a basic precision system is it's 2 hidden nodes and 4 synapses, right? You have an absolute, which turns your angle into a positive no matter what, and the higher that is, the slower the Bibite is going to go, which causes it to slow down and turn towards a object without just shooting way past it. These guys do struggle a little bit with groups of food, but they figure it out after a while. The other part of the precision system is a Gaussian out of angle, which reverses the angles. If it's a 0, it turns into a 1. If it's a 1, it turns into a 0. And it's a fairly steep one, so it has to be closer to 0 before it accelerates. I may have to modify it a little bit so that it gets even more precise before it starts taking off, because this guy's missing just an absolute lot, and that's it. I would say that definitely accounts for some of its failure to stick in the environment. I modified both the blueberry sharks and carrot sharks. They're both now evolving species, capable of being, rather than being sterile in the environment. These are the smart versions. They do have some precision food gathering, much like the Progs themselves. Another thing that the Progs have is the egg system right now requires them to have at least 90% of their energy capacity full before they are willing or interested in laying an egg. I also have a digestion network in here, which causes them to stop digesting food if their energy is at 95% or greater, which means that they don't waste nearly as much food as before. Let's see, there's a spitting mechanism attached to the color lock with these guys. These guys recognize each other by their color, and there's a lot of things that happen because of that. When they see their matching color scheme, they will stop. Well, they'll actively try to rotate away from each other, and this isn't enough to counteract like the meat itself. So they will often, bite each other when trying to feed. And I have some ideas on how to fix that. It's going to be a bit. There are so many things that have changed, but part of that color locking system is now they will spit each other out if they accidentally bite one of their own, and very likely that we'll get to see that happen at least once here. I do need to make sure that we get some eggs though. See, this is both of the egg. This is going to be both the egg system and the digestion system being shown off all at once. It has to get all the way up here before it lays an egg. They don't hold food in their stomach long though because of that egg. They're not too picky about where they lay it, just as long as they lay it. It does slow down the egg, the reproduction rate. However, it also allows these guys to get fairly large. Unfortunately, it does seem to me like some of the larger ones, especially once the amount of food in the system reduces, won't actually be able to lay eggs because their energy won't ever get high enough to trigger that network. I'm fine with that though. they're doing fairly well, and I personally think they're extremely entertaining to watch. Those two bit each other pretty hard, but they didn't have an opportunity to spit. It's possible, especially by the looks of it here, that they were already damaged beforehand. Maybe it's not the first time that they've accidentally bumped. But they do a fantastic job of killing and eating and all of that good stuff. There's going to be a lot of babies who are just stuck on a plant. If they don't find meat, they'll go to the plant and they'll just try to stay alive. This one's going to pogo. Nope, I guess not. It should pogo when it sees one of these guys, but for some reason it just stayed put. But what it means is that even in the absence of meat, the babies can live for a very, very long time waiting for a better environment to arrive, rather than just swimming out into their death. They can't grow or lay eggs on the plants, on a plant diet, but they can absolutely extend their life. So, one thing that I've noticed is that since I've made changes to the sharks, their populations are, I'd argue this is getting a little out of hand. I've turned down the fertility of the environment so that as more of the food gets eaten, it takes longer to spawn in, which causes these guys to have population meltdowns as they consume too much of their environment. I mostly just do that as a form of population control because the Progs simply just do not kill enough of these things to prevent massive propagation. But I'm enjoying them. I'm pretty happy with the way they turned out. I think when I started reprogramming them, they were down to 20 nodes, and I very likely put 30 nodes in, hidden nodes in, just in putting in all of the systems that I actually want them to have. I also reduced their brain mutation amount here by about 60%, I think. And my hope is that this means that more identical babies will come out, which would, in theory, give me a more stable genome. I do. Something about these blueberry sharks you'll notice is their brain average mutation is actually 0.04. These guys barely change ever, which makes them super stable. And I may end up having to do that for the Progs. I did some other experimenting. I tried to reduce their egg laying cost, but I couldn't reduce the size of the egg and still have them be stable on a plant diet. As it is, I don't think that the babies are truly stable on a plant-based diet. I think that they can last for, 20 minutes, but they will ultimately starve on just plants if they don't get some meat in their diet. And I don't want to. I could very easily make the babies stable on a plant diet by raising the egg laying cost and having them come out bigger. But I don't want to do that. I want to reduce the egg laying cost as much as possible so that I can get more babies on the field. More babies per parent means more stable genome. And that's really the thing I'm after. I have so many complicated networks in here that I need stability, or else they're just going to devolve, and that's a pain in my butt because then I have to put them back in. Yeah, so I reduced the damage of the carrot sharks and the blueberry sharks, but it's still they're still killing my dudes. It's fine. It's fine. Getting some big lag spikes too. But I wanted to show it off. They're dancing really cool. That's all. It's just fun to watch. They make such a great screensaver. Y'all have a good time.